All right, welcome back to the channel. So it looks like Danny Garcia versus Terence Crawford could be a possibility. But the question is this a fight that Terence Crawford is willing to make with Danny Garcia? Because Danny Garcia seems to be interested in this fight. I'm going to break it down for y'all. Let's talk about it in this video. King Jr. got another video for y'all. Please sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, and also share the video. It really helps the channel, and the channel, it'll help it grow along the way. With that being said, my source is coming from Boxing Scene, and it looks like Danny Garcia versus Terence Crawford could happen this year, in between the month of July or June or whatever. Who knows what Terence Crawford is gonna do? But Danny Garcia seems to be interested in fighting Terence Crawford. So I'm gonna read a little bit on Boxing Scene, and I'm gonna get on out of here. So Danny Garcia believes he's drawing the ability should behold a certain welterweight champion from Omaha, Nebraska, to consider fighting him, which is Terence Crawford. In a recent interview, Garcia, the two-division title holder from Philadelphia, offered on what may be the most is sought to get reputation to idea of fighting Terence Crawford, who holds the WBO 147-pound belt. Crawford is currently a free agent as his contract with longtime promoter Top Rank ended last November. After Crawford 10th round knockout of Sean Porter in Las Vegas, the 34-year-old Garcia has not fought since he lost against Errol Spence Jr., so he's not necessarily looking to fight Crawford in his next bout, but afterwards he is apparently all game. So he basically said he wanted to fight Terence Crawford. Then they tell us he's not want to fight Terence Crawford. So who knows what Danny Garcia is? So let's continue to keep on reading. Not next, Garcia said of fighting Crawford in an interview with Fight Hub, but that's a big fight. We have history. I feel like he needs somebody like me, and it goes on to the record and stuff like that. Garcia's last point is probably reference to Crawford's struggle at the box office through the switch-hitting three-division titles has been rumorated throughout the years. Crawford has struggled to produce some kind of gate pay-per-view numbers that one might typically be associated with his talents. Garcia is no stranger to his high-level profile bouts. His unification fight, we all know he lost to Keith Thurman and stuff like that. So I'm not I'm not gonna continue reading this, but you guys can check out Boxing Scene, gets in all that other stuff. So let's break this down. In my opinion, I think this will be a great fight. This fight is not going to happen. Because Garcia said he's not interested, but if he is interested, it looks like he could be potentially fighting. Maybe they'll try to get a showdown in July and stuff like that. Well, I have to feel Danny Garcia on this one because Danny Garcia will be coming off another huge loss if he loses Terence Crawford. I feel like Terence Crawford beats Danny Garcia because style makes fights. Danny Garcia is a flat-footed fighter. He's a puncher. He's very flat-footed. Danny Garcia biggest attribute is if he gets roughed up on the inside, he's going to catch you with a no-look left hook, and he could get you out of there. I think that Terence Crawford, too much lateral movement, has the ability to switch from orthodox to southpaw. He's very rangy. He can be that dog at times if you hurt Terence Crawford. So Terence Crawford just has too many, and also he has a ring IQ. So Terence Crawford has too many intangibles for Danny Garcia, and I don't think Danny Garcia will be able to beat Terence Crawford. You know, he's a good counterpuncher. He got power. He's very flat-footed. He's very stationary, but it's just not going to be enough. I see Terence Crawford knocking Danny Garcia out the same way he knocked out Sean Porter within 10 rounds at least, or it could be early because Danny Garcia showed at times he's not a good boxer and stuff like that, and he really doesn't have a good jab. He's just wait for you to be active, and then he goes and he kind of stands there and wait for the punches to be thrown at him to counterpunch you. So that's just Danny Garcia. But this is my whole take on the whole situation. I don't think this fight's going to happen, in my opinion. But if it does decide to happen, it could happen in the middle of the year. But the question is, what is Terence Crawford going to do? He can't just sit on the shelf and wait for Errol Spence. I mean, he can do that and have enough time to have a lot of rest and have a lot of training time to figure out and compute data against Errol Spence. But that's not going to do you any good. I believe Terence Crawford has been out the ring for a minute now. I believe close to a year. I could be wrong. But Terence Crawford needs to be active. Terence Crawford, he just needs to stay focused in the sport of boxing. Well, he already is focused, but I mean, he needs to stay more active, because you just can't be sitting off these layoffs because this could hinder your abilities and stuff like that. But we got to realize that Terence Crawford is not a young dog like he used to be. He is getting older and stuff like that. But I wouldn't mind seeing the fight. I think Terence Crawford beat Danny Garcia easily because that style is tailor-made for Terence Crawford. But if the fight does come to fruition, I'm having Terence Crawford by knockout or stoppage because, like I said, Danny Garcia, flat-footed, come forward fighter. He's a counter puncher and he has power in both hands. But who knows? Maybe Danny Garcia might land a shot on Terence Crawford and clip him and maybe hurt Terence Crawford bad. Who knows? But Terence Crawford has shown us that he has a chin. He has a pretty reasonable and sturdy chin. So who knows? I'm hoping that this fight does get made, but according to Danny Garcia, he doesn't want Terence Crawford right now because he probably wants a tune-up fight and then probably fight Terence Crawford. You guys know when you're coming off a huge loss, you want to try to get your name back in the mix and fight another solid name, and then you'll be in the rankings to fight a big name. So with that being said, guys, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.